Hello, everyone. Welcome to the State DA Day webinar. Can someone confirm that you can see our screen and that you can hear me, please? Okay, thank you so much, Stacy, Vanjie, Rick, and everyone else that said you guys could hear us and see our screen. I just have a few announcements and mostly reminders for you guys. All invoices for this state fiscal year are due to us by July 5th. And if you're not able to make that timeline, just please let your QRS coordinator know by July 12th. Let us know the amount you'll be billing for and an underput funding. Okay, next update, as you all know, and we discussed last State TA Day, we are switching over to the ERS 3 tools. We're moving from the ERS R tools to the 3 tools. You should have received an email from Clayton explaining a little bit about this process and inviting you to register your coaches for different trainings. Please make sure you respond to that. If you haven't received that email, let me know. The Office of Early Childhood will be paying for the travel for the coaches, but we need to get an estimate. So you will receive an email from me in the next couple days, and we're just going to ask for the coach's name and the location of their training, and then if they'll need lodging and their travel estimate. So that'll come from me, Monica Carr, in the next day or so. Just an update from Lisa Matter. She mentioned that she sent an email out to you guys yesterday. It's in regard to funding for July, so that is very important that you respond if you expect EQIT funding beginning July 1st. Do you have any questions about our update? Okay, so we have a few of you that didn't receive the email from Clayton. Thank you for letting me know, and we'll be sure to send it out again. It's a link where you can register your coaches for the ERS 3 tools. And don't worry, you're not too late if you haven't received that. It just went out I want to say in the last couple of days. So we'll move right along, and we have Stacy Kennedy here today, the director of the Child Care Quality Initiatives Unit. She will be talking about the triennial council evaluation and providing the timeline for the RFA, the request for application. So Stacy, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Just one second, Monica's. Okay, let's try this again. Hi, everyone. We are going to try something a little different because I do want this to be more of a conversation and interactive. So we're going to try and unmute everyone. And I would just ask that as you have questions, chime in, and hopefully this goes well and will lend itself to a more interactive State TA Day webinar. So as Monica's unmuting everyone, I just wanted to go over today's agenda. Today we're going to really focus on 2 areas. We're going to focus on the triennial council evaluation, and then we'll also talk about the request for application timeline. And this is the request for application for both systems building and the Colorado Shines QI. We're going to give a little background because I do know that we have some new council coordinators, and because it's an every 3-year evaluation, this may be new information
just give us 1 second and we'll get the audio back. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'm not sure exactly when I was muted. So let me just, for the sake of ensuring everyone understands kind of what we'll be talking about today, we are going to go over some background information for the triennial council evaluation, knowing that there's some new coordinators, and because it happens every 3 years, even if you've been in your role for a while, it may be a new process to you. We'll talk about what those activities include relative to the evaluation and what, at this point, are the known evaluation methods. And then we'll be going over a timeline for that process. Finally, we'll be talking about the request for application timeline, and this request for application, just as a reminder, relates both to the Early Childhood Council Systems Building as well as the Colorado Shines quality improvement work that you all are instrumental in. And again, just I believe at this point everyone's unmuted or close to being unmuted. As questions arise, just chime in. And as mentioned, I'm hoping this can be kind of interactive. I just really want to be sure your questions are answered and everyone's feeling comfortable with these processes. So a background on the council evaluation. The council evaluation is required through statute, specifically 26-6.5-108, and it's required that the state, or in this case CDHS, the Colorado Department of Human Services, conduct an independent evaluation of the system of early childhood councils.
There's so much traffic on 160.
And if we're hearing some background noise, so just know that you're unmuted. So if you can mute your own phone on your end, that would be really helpful. The evaluation activities are noted here, and so I'll go through them. And these are, again, called out in statute. So it will include an aggregate evaluation of local evaluation plan data. And we're hearing some background, some typing. If you can please mute your line.
Oh, God, let's see.
Thank you. This may not work as well as I had hoped. But let's just keep going. It will include an aggregate evaluation of local evaluation plan data. And so these are your annual evaluations based on activities noted in your strategic plans. That information will be analyzed at by the State Department and provided to the evaluator vendor to determine overall program performance and council process and effectiveness. So that's the first activity. The second is an evaluation of the state program, or in this case, CDHS, or the Department of Human Services, performance, including the efficiency and effectiveness of the State Department in meeting the needs of the early childhood councils. The third activity is an evaluation of the feasibility of combining the funding sources available under this Part 1. And when it says Part 1 in the legislation, it's really talking about those funds that are state, federal, or otherwise public funds that support quality care for children and families in your service area. The fourth area is an evaluation of the barriers to the delivery of quality early childhood services. And then finally, we'll be looking at the impact of the rule waivers that were issued during this 3-year time period. And so the time period of the councils is looking at the 2016 through 2019 state fiscal years. Okay.
Just for a second, please go ahead. Everyone is unmuted. We're trying to make this interactive. If you don't have a question, go ahead and mute your phone. And also mute your computer unless you have a question for Stacy. It's getting a little bit distracting. Thank you so much.
Okay, that sounds better. So we are in the process of securing the vendor to conduct this evaluation. It will be a university partner. And based on our discussions to date, I thought it would be important to share with you the data collection methods that we've identified. And the reason I wanted to kind of share this with you is I know that there's a number of other activities happening locally. There's certainly the preschool development grant activities that are happening. And so I'm hoping that this will be information that will ease any concerns on your part around the time involvement that may be required for councils, you all, your staff, and your boards. So the first data collection method will be a document review, and we have all of your 2 years worth of your annual evaluation reports. We also have your strategic plan, and we have information for your early childhood membership or your, that serves as your advisory board. And that information has been provided to the vendor, or I should say will be provided to the vendor. We don't yet have the 2018-2019 annual evaluations because we're still in June. So I just wanted to remind everyone that those annual evaluations are due no later than July 31st. And that these will be part of the evaluation process. And so if you can get those in sooner, that'd be greatly appreciated by the evaluator. The second data collection method is online surveys. And so we used this process when we worked with Child Trends, but we anticipate that the surveys will target you as councils, your board or your early childhood council membership, the broader community in your area, so kind of those entities that you would be partnering with and who may not be part of your membership, and then programs or providers in your area. And then the last data collection method would be key informant interviews. And these would happen only in cases where there's additional questions or gaps in the information that we've gathered through the online survey. So I don't anticipate that there would be a lot of this activity happening during the on the part of the vendor, but just know that we want to be sure that the evaluation is based on accurate information. And so in cases where there's need for clarification, that outreach will occur. The timeline for the evaluation, the word evaluation is missing here, is we're looking to start in July, and it's going to be super condensed and quick. During the months of July and August, the evaluation activities that we just reviewed will be occurring. The vendor then will be submitting the report to CDHS here at the Office of Early Childhood no later than September 10th. And then we have to go through a formal clearance process for these legislatively required reports. And so between the 11th and the end of September, we'll be putting the report through that process and then submitting to the Speaker of the Colorado House of Representatives and the President of the Colorado Senate no later than October 1st of this year. Any questions about this? Okay. All right. This may be a very quick call. So the next topic area is really related to the request for application. It just seems crazy that we're coming up on a 3-year time period, but we are. And so we wanted to just give a heads up about the timeline for this request for application. And this year we'll be releasing the RFA in accordance with the timelines for the other contract activities. So the release date for the RFA will occur in January of 2020. And again, the scope will include both the systems building and the Colorado Shines quality improvement effort. It will be open for 30 days. And in regards to the funding, it will reflect the funding that's noted for the as future state systems building funding within the table that was sent out a while back, 3 years ago, and sent out kind of annually, I think, that reflects the systems building funding formula. And then there's another one that reflects the base funding for Colorado Shines QI implementation activities. And the awards from the request for application will inform the 2020-2021 contract period. And then, as always, there will be an option to renew clause in there, so that for up to 4 additional years, though we're going to try and stick to this every 3-year process. So one thing to keep in mind is if you are thinking of bringing in a reconfiguring or in any way, you'll want to allow for enough time prior to this timeline to accomplish that and work with the county commissioners and those, the local convening entities on that. Do we have any questions about this? Are there any chats coming through? Oh, okay. Thanks, Stacy. Okay, so, and I'm talking to Stacy Petty. She said not at this time. I'm not talking to myself. Okay, well, just know that if there are questions that come up as you reflect on this information, that you can always reach out to your coordinators, and if they are unclear, they will definitely let me know and I can provide that clarification. Okay, hold on. I think we have a question.
We have a question about county commissioners. If you don't mind unmuting yourself and asking the question. Right now I'm just seeing a topic, not really a question. So whoever asked this, please unmute yourself and we can hopefully answer that for you.
Hey, Claudia, if you hit pound 116 #, you should be able to mute or unmute yourself on your phone.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So like Verizon. about the county commissioners. Just that comment that Stacy made about reaching out to the county commissioners. I was just a little confused about that conversation, so I just wanted to see if she could kind of go a little farther on that. I kind of missed something there, I guess.
Sure. And this is Stacy, Claudia. So in the rule, when we're talking about locally convening, the county commissioners identify that convening entity. So if you're not planning on going through a reconfiguration or as part of your council, it's a non-issue. But in cases where you there may be some reconfiguration or some pulling in of a new a county that's not currently covered by a council, such as Archuleta County, that would be where you would need to involve your county commissioners.
All right. We were talking about the funding and how that was coming down, and then all of a sudden I heard county commissioners. I'm like, whoa, did I miss something? But no, I got that. All right, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Stacy, this is Betsy Overton, and I was wondering if there's any new consideration given to the councils who are going to be hitting the floor.
There currently aren't any anticipated changes to the funding formula. And so no, the floor and the ceilings will still apply.
If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask them out loud. We're trying to make this webinar more interactive, so don't type in the chat box. Go ahead and ask your questions out loud. Make sure to unmute yourself first. Thank you.
This is Jackie. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, super. My question is in relationship to the PDG business plan application. I believe you'll be submitting winterish of late 1919 or early 2020. What, if any, anticipation do you see in integration with council work, the RFA, in any way, shape, or form?
So, and you're talking about kind of the local assessment, the strategic planning, are those some of the activities?
Yeah. Correct. I'm thinking as you are doing all of these assessments right now, putting together, analyzing the data, and then outlining strategies for going forward in those 4 years. What, if any, does that integrate with future council work? Will any of that be integrated into the RFA application? If any,
Yeah, so we're it's a great question, and I do anticipate there will be some call out of key local partners, of which early childhood councils are. We've pulled together all of the vendors that play a role in that local assessment, strategic plan, needs assessment, and they are just starting their work. But a lot of this is, the strategic plan really is informed largely by the needs assessment. And so there's more connects as they're conducting their statewide assessment around what exists in terms of services, quality services, what is needed and where's the gap. Those, there's like those 5 questions. The findings from that information will really inform kind of that strategic plan that then informs the years 2 through 4 application. So it feels a little nebulous right now because the work hasn't started to really determine the answers to those key questions. But once that work starts unfolding, And, you know, we start to get to the point where we're, you know, at the point of having results, then I think it will become more clear of who's involved in solving for that gap, and what are the levers that we use to do that.
Very good. I appreciate that. In my mind, I'm thinking that this time frame, and I think you echoed this time frame somewhat conflicts with each other. If there's any ask of councils, it'll almost be submitted at the time that we're putting in our RFA, so what comes out of it really won't be able to be incorporated into that RFA. Possibly they will, possibly we won't. We really don't know right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's right. The time does not, it's not our friend right now because there's just so many things happening, and we couldn't really make a lot of changes. We thought about holding off on the RFA, and we can always amend the contract, you know, or conduct another RFA. But I want to just say, while I can't give specifics for what the RFA will include, it will be very similar to the prior RFA, the application that was released last time. You know, a lot of information that you all kind of maintain, the school readiness plan, and you've already got your members. I think last time it was maybe a little bit more of a lift, and there were some, there was a need for some rule waivers to be submitted to be compliant with the required stakeholder memberships that's on the Early Childhood Membership Board. But yeah, you're calling out kind of something that we've thought about. The other thing, Jackie, that we've talked about with the vendors is just being sensitive to, you know, that we don't create survey fatigue. And so there is a very intentional effort to coordinate efforts at the state level to ensure that we're not surveying the same population at the same time, or that we're sending out one survey, for example, that's gathering data that may be needed across these different activities. Or so there is that consideration. Child Trends was awarded the strategic plan work for the preschool development grant, and then they subcontracted with Marzano and then Early Milestones Colorado to do some of the specific strategic action work with populations. So Marzano is focused on the families, and then Early Milestones Colorado is focused on you know, everyone else, like the system, the other stakeholders. And I did mention to them the fact that the triennial evaluation would be unfolding, those activities unfolding over kind of this July-August time period. And so they are aware that if, you know, that their activities should align, and we should coordinate relative to things that may be directed at councils, you all.
Very good. Thank you, Stacy. That's very helpful. And I appreciate the information too. And I read the vendors. I must have missed over the Marzano piece, because I'm a huge fan of that. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're actually a subcontractor. So I don't think that they were noted on the Colorado Shines Brighter website.
There you go. That's probably why. Yeah. So very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Stacy Petty. I just wanted to say thank you for giving us this information early, so we have time to process, to take it back to our council membership, and be more prepared. So I appreciate that.
Great. You're welcome. Well, that was the goal.
Yes, I echo that. That's very helpful.
Great. Okay. So let's just give like a few more moments to see if there's other questions that people have. And then if not, we'll give you guys back some time in your day. Okay. Monica is reporting that there are none here. So thank you all for your time today. And again, don't hesitate to reach out as questions kind of come to mind. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your afternoon.